Yeah.
We're talking about embracing change and what holds us back. So, first of all, why is it important to embrace change, Mr. Toby Carvalho?
Man, it's so important because if you don't embrace the change, moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah, there's only two ways,
Yeah,
right? You're either stuck where you are,
yeah,
or you're changing. You're
yeah,
embracing change. And the world will keep changing.
yeah,
I think about people my mom's age. My mom's in her 70s, right? And there's a lot of people who aren't very good at technology.
hmm,
And you know why? Because in the 80s and the 90s, when technology was coming out, they didn't embrace it. They
yeah,
resisted it.
yeah,
Or at different points in their lives, they're like, no, 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 I'm comfortable with the way things are.
yeah,
I don't need any stinking email, right? And a lot of people's grandmas still need help with email.
yeah,
Not my mom, because
yeah.
she's
No,
always embraced change.
I mean, being comfortable. Yeah, when you're being comfortable is the first step for your start failing in life. When you are comfortable in
Well,
life, because when you are comfortable in some way, I make $100,000 a year. I can buy anything I want right now. I can live where I want. I'm looking good. I'm good. But then in that good, it will go for like a 2, 3 years and probably 5 years. But then you're gonna start getting bored because
yeah,
you are in your
a
comfort
limit,
zone.
comfort
Growing.
zone. Well, one of my biggest goals in life is just to expand my comfort zone, to be more comfortable in more situations,
Yeah.
right? Instead of having a small comfort zone,
Hmm.
I want to embrace change. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Right now, we're talking about, embracing change, looking for opportunities to practice embracing change, even if it's not that important to your life, so that when it is important to your life,
Yeah.
you're practiced in
Yeah.
it. You're comfortable with embracing change. And there's a level of metacognition here, right? Being aware of how you're thinking about change
Yeah.
instead of just letting it happen to you. So let's start with the things that hold us back. And we already talked about attachment to your comfort zone, right? So that's a big one. And I was going to a staff meeting. This was years and years ago, right? And it was about diversity.
Hmm.
And so we all had to write up like how we felt about going to this training about diversity and inclusion. And then we put them, they were anonymous, and we typed them up and they were put up all over the room. And I was shocked how many people were afraid of feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I would never have imagined having that reaction. I was excited,
Yeah.
right, to learn more about this topic. But there are people who are afraid to feel uncomfortable.
I mean, I've been there. I done that. I've been comfortable. I didn't like to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But in some time in my life, it's something I had to embrace because I must change. Because I don't really, to me, I don't really like that things to come to me, change for me. I like to see where I'm going, change my own destiny.
You make your own change.
Yeah, yeah. I feel much empowered.
Okay, so that's the second one.
Yeah.
So first of all is your comfort zone and not being too attached and looking for opportunities to get outside your comfort zone. But number two, and this is a big one for me too, loss of control. Mm-hmm. I like to control change. Right? I don't like things changing on me. I like to be in control of change. But part of this is embracing change when it comes to you and it's not your choice.
Yeah.
Things happen in life. Accidents happen. Divorces happen. Deaths happen.
Yeah.
Job losses happen. Right? And not to bring the whole energy down, but what if you could embrace that and say, wow, this is an opportunity for a different experience.
Yeah.
Because you can't change, right? You can't change what happened.
Yeah.
So you can either resist it or embrace it. And life's going to be better when you embrace change.
Yeah, I think that's what many people has issue with is trying to bring the past back and trying to change the past, which is just impossible to do that. Um, we just when something already happened, we just have to find a way to, okay, how can we get out from this experience? How can we what can we take out of this experience
Mhm.
to make something new out of
Yeah.
it, right? Because there is always, like they say, when it's a storm today, it might be a bright, clear sky tomorrow.
Right.
So, if you are prepared for the bright, clear sky tomorrow, you will be in better shape than just the sky just was bright for you, right away, right?
Absolutely. Sorry, we got a pop up on our screen here.
Yeah.
So let's move on
Hmm.
because it's all fine and good and easy to say. But the other thing to be aware of is that current changes can trigger trauma or experiences that you had when you were younger,
Hmm.
right? And if we're not aware of how that happens, then we're just at its mercy.
Yeah.
Right. And our body and our cells all respond the way they wanted to respond when you were 5 years old and change happened and you were not in control.
Yeah.
And so you kind of feel the same way and you start responding the same way. And the more awareness we can bring and say, wow, I'm acting. I know I've noticed this in myself. I'm acting not like myself.
Hmm.
Not like my rational self who embraces change. I wonder what's being triggered here. And even if whether I identify it or not, being aware that this is probably attached to something in my childhood, but I'm grown up now and I can choose a different response. I can choose to, a different response.
Yeah. Because it's always something that happened in the past and that is trying to hold you now in the present. But it's nothing wrong about it. It's the things like it's your protection, it's your shield, all right. But when you recognize that you always have a shield that will tell you, "Hey, stop! Don't do that," or "No, that's too much," or "Now you are out of your comfort zone." Your shield is just trying to protect you. The moment that you say, "No, I don't need your protection right now.
Yeah.
I gotta move forward." The moment you do one step more forward, you pass that mentality that you know, are you good? You you overcome the path. Now is all new world for
Expansion.
you. Expansion. So now your head don't even think about what you are trying to deal with to get to that point, because all your brand wants is for you to go to the next step.
Well, it also wants to hold you back. It wants to limit. So there's this. So there's this. I mean, if you're either contracting or expanding in life, right? What if that's true? You're either expanding or you're contracting. So if you're letting that contracting part hold back, and we all know people, the older people are, it's easier, I think, to recognize whether they've been living their life in expansion or contraction, right? And I know which direction I want to live in, right? Where my world gets bigger and bigger and I'm embracing new things and new people and new ideas all the time. Let's move on a little bit, because another one, a big one for me, is fear of failure. So, I know what I'm good at. And that's, again, back in my comfort zone. I know what I'm good at. I know where I'm not going to fail. And so when change comes and I have to step out of my comfort zone, I don't know that I'm going to be successful at this, right?
Yeah.
I might fail, and that's scary. Right? And there's consequences of failure. There's monetary consequences. There's effects on my family and the people who I love. Right? And so that can really hold you back. And we're going to get into some ways to overcome. But that, I know, is a big one that can hold people back is fear of failure. And along with that is lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Because it's saying, I'm not sure of myself. I'm not sure I can overcome this change. I'm not sure I can conquer this. I'm not sure I can learn this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's one of the, we're talking about believing before, but when you're not confident with your own self, what you can do or what you cannot do, number one is going to be a lack of knowledge in what you wanted to pursue. Right? And that is easy to overcome that because there is a bunch of books that you can read
Videos.
and videos that you can watch that actually help you to overcome that, right? It, but it is terrifying to feel, to have that feeling. We all have that.
Yeah.
But we have to, but when we are aware of the feeling, we can always make that, the feeling go away by, letting go.
And again, the more you surrender is usually a thing I love, but the more you submit or surrender to this feeling of I might fail, and therefore I'm not going to try, I'm not going to venture out there, then more and more things you bump up against that limit, that wall that you have, and you're like, oh, I probably won't succeed here, I probably won't succeed here, and it's self-fulfilling.
Yeah, that's...
Whereas if you try one thing and you break through and you succeed at that, then the next time change comes around, you're like, I probably can succeed at this because I've succeeded at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right? And yes, I've failed at things too.
Yeah.
But embracing the parts of you that has succeeded.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we start this, for example, I wasn't computer savvy. I had a lot of questions all the time, and a lot of simple things that kind of make me embarrassed, to even to ask. But I keep asking.
Like, how do I find my documents?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's so embarrassing to ask even that. But I hold my pride. And I'm like, hey,
I need help.
I need a help. I need something I need to learn, and I need to let this, this macho man pride kind of thing go away because I need a help. But if I didn't do that, I would probably be stuck in the same place. But the moment I start doing that, and then I did, I said, okay, and now I start to get as I'm learning, I start to get more confidence with myself. And then I started learning actually
how to figure it out,
how to figure out stuff,
how to look it up,
and I said, oh, okay.
Because half the time he'd call me and he'd say, like, how do we do this? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's Google it. Let's look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that's a great example of I know I can figure this out.
I know I can figure it out, but you have to make that decision that, hey, I wanted to figure it out.
We're living a great time in life. So basically, another one that holds us back is fear of judgment, because we've established this identity of who we are, and I think there can be fear of change and what people are going to think if we're different than we used to be. If we're making different music than we used to make.
Yeah.
If we're wearing different style of clothes than we used to wear, if we're talking about different topics than we used to.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I'm not the kind of person who meditates. Well, get over it and become that kind of person, right? It's okay to change who you are, and change your identity, right? Yeah. And be a different person.
I mean, this thing. I mean, actually,
and you're always the same person. Sorry.
Our identity, the ones that we grow up with, it might even be our identity, because we look at how much people we met along the way, how many habits we took for somebody else, and then we create our own world between everything that we learned around us. All right, but is that really your identity?
You get to choose your identity every day.
Or you can make a new one, a new identity. Yes, you can, because I mean, it's not much difference than being, actor on a movie. That they will make a movie. They are somebody right now, but they are somebody else different. You can make that your life. It happens that way. If you wanted to change it to be somebody else in life, you can do it. I mean, come on. If you want to be president of this nation, you can be, but you have to know that's what you want. That's what you're gonna fight for. What can I do to get to that point, right?
And you can love yourself and change parts of your identity at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you can do all that.
You're the author. You're the author. You get to do it however you want.
Nobody can write your own book better than you. Yeah. And everybody can write their own book. Everybody has his own story. And if you can create your own book, create your own story, nobody gonna say otherwise, because that's your story. But how you want to create your story, right? How you want to do it.
So switching from, focusing on the things that hold us back, the chains of anxiety that keep us from embracing change, right? And thinking about what are some tools to break those chains? What are some tools to break free and embrace change? So the first one is, back to dream, plan, do. The first one is to have a huge dream, a vision of what it is that you want to achieve in life. And it can be clear, the clearer, the better. But even vague, even I want to be a positive person. I want to be a loving person. I want to have a wonderful circle of family and friends. I want to have a comfortable level of financial success. Or you can get super detailed, right? I want to have an aquarium in my house, a big, beautiful aquarium. We're not there yet, but when I picture success, right? I'm like, one day I'm going to have that aquarium. I'm going to be able to pay someone to come and take care of it, right? But having that vision helps you embrace the changes that it's going to take, because obviously I'm not doing what it takes to have an aquarium in my house yet, right? I'm trying, but there's more change I'm going to have to embrace along that road, right? And so once you have that clear vision, then some other tools are just to that metacognition that I was talking about earlier, thinking about how you think about things, thinking about whether you're in a fixed mindset that seeks to reinforce your own identity and to prove that you're good enough, or a growth mindset that seeks to grow, seeks to learn. You can really only be operating in one or the other. So if you're trying to prove that you're good enough, you're not growing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So seek that growth mindset. Like Toby was saying, you either stay stuck and like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or you ask for help, you search things, and you learn and you overcome. So that's one. Another tool for overcoming the chains of anxiety that hold us back, Toby mentioned educating yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Reading, listening to podcasts. There's a channel, there's all sorts of amazing channels now on all of our TVs, and Amazon Prime has a lot. And we have a channel called Gaia, right? So instead of watching sitcoms or whatever, all the different police shows on TV that are just a distraction, watch stuff and listen to stuff that is actually elevating and educating you.
I mean, just take away your bad news, like all the same news all day long, bad news anyway. Yeah, it's all about politics. Take it out on the side and listen to something that actually really going to move you forward, or really will take you out of the fear. For example, right now everybody has this fear about the economy, or all this, the price and all that stuff. Everybody has this fear. But why you have this fear? Because you're watching too much news, too much bad news, right?
And because it's very, very complicated.
And yeah.
So the more that you educate yourself, so there's part of it is just like, oh, don't focus on the negative. But the more you actually start educating yourself, and you're like, this is exciting because I'm going to be on the front edge of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to understand cryptocurrency. I'm going to understand NFTs. I'm going to understand EFTs and index funds, right? Yeah. I'm going to understand, so I don't need to be afraid of the future.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta be prepared. You have to be prepared to take the opportunity, because in the reality that when the economy, say the economy is down, everything is down, that's where people get rich, because you buy things on a penny and then you change it. And then when the good days, you're like, oh yeah, it's the best things I did in my life.
Talk to a financial advisor before you make any investment decisions. Yeah. Educate yourself. And that's another one. Surround yourself with people that you can lean on and get support from. That was an amazing part of what I learned. Gosh, my mom gave us the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Right when we got married, we were like 23 and 25, and she gave us that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it made a huge impact.
Yeah, it did.
And one of the things is about having a council of advisors, not thinking you can do it all yourself, right? Who do you call when you're not sure, about the economy?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you call when you're not sure about career moves? Who do you call when you're not sure about your parenting?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to have like these advisors, the people that you can trust, to give you good advice.
Yeah.
Who might know more about things than you.
I heard that you gotta have 5 different friends that that when you have a question, you know who to call.
Yeah, Jeff Lerner talks about that as well. Like
Yeah.
having a diversified, inner circle
Mm-hmm.
of people that you really lean on.
Yeah.
The other thing when you're facing change, right, whether it's change that you chose or change that was thrust upon you, it can be so big and overwhelming. There's no way I can get through this, right? So just sit down, break it down into smaller pieces,
Mm-hmm.
little bite sizes, right?
Yeah.
Even, I know when my dad passed away, there was so much and it was so overwhelming. And just picking a piece and working on that and making progress day after day. The other thing is that I'm a president of a nonprofit. And the other day I was just feeling so much overwhelm about it. And I was surrounded by my crew. And they just said, let's just pick a little thing. Let's just work on something. Let's just move the ball forward. Because I was ready to quit. I was so burnt out, and I'm supposed to be the leader, and I felt like I was failing. And they were like, let's just move the ball forward a little bit this week. We'll move the ball forward a little bit next week. So that kind of brings in all the pieces of having people support you, and also breaking it down into little tiny pieces, and staying attached to the why. Why not give up?
Yeah.
Because it's important. I wouldn't have taken it on if it wasn't important. Yeah. What else?
I mean, practice meditation,
mindfulness, meditation,
embrace flexibility.
One at a time.
Yeah.
And mindfulness and meditation, what's the benefit of that when it comes to embracing change? Is that it brings down the overwhelm. You stay grounded, right? It's very, very important to stay grounded and realistic and not get frenzied.
Not just grounded, to stay in your present moment. All right. And that's one thing that we tend to focus a lot, is either being in our past or being in our future. And then we forget actually to live in the present moment.
Yeah.
And the present moment is actually the only moment we have. Right? It's the only moment we have. So if we all practice living in our moment, what's happening right now, I'm focused on what's happening right now in front of me. We actually will be able to overcome a lot of obstacles in our life, because it's not going to feel too overwhelming, because it's like you don't have to focus too much on what's coming, but then you don't have to worry too much about the past that you cannot even hold it back.
Right.
All right.
Just focus on today.
Focus on today. What's going on right now? What are you doing right now? Are you drinking coffee? Focus on the coffee. How the coffee tastes. If you do it that way, you live in your present moment, and you will live a fulfilling life. That's, I believe so.
I feel like we have 12 more recommendations. We do have so many. 5 more minutes. So pick some favorites, and maybe we'll have to come back to some of these another day. But I know another one is to, set realistic expectations for yourself and put milestones so you can celebrate small wins, right? Because I know I'm a bit of an overachiever. And so a small win in my past, a small win went unrecognized, and I couldn't celebrate until I'd changed the world.
Well, you changed a lot.
And so now I've learned to really recognize small wins each day and celebrate those. And so that's a big one for me.
Yeah, practice self-compassion. Right? If you have compassion for somebody else, why not for yourself, right? You have to. We usually beat ourselves down so we can put somebody else on top. And it's a natural things to do, but we are just doing it wrong. Because when we practice self compassion, all right, and our cup is overloaded with so much compassion, right? Now you will be able to do everybody else, the compassion to everybody, love somebody else, love yourself first, and then you love everybody else.
That was my favorite live that we ever did, and actually
Yeah.
in the VIP room where we discussed that self-care and self-love. That was my favorite because it went really, really deep. And I've been thinking about that recently and maybe needing to revisit that topic sometime soon, for sure. And then I'd say my last favorite one is to expect setbacks. The road is not going to be smooth sailing all the time, right? And of course, yeah, we want to manifest that things happen. We want to affirm that things are going to happen with ease, but not to expect that everything is going to be smooth sailing and blue skies all the time.
No.
The storms come.
Yeah.
And if you're shocked and you're starting negative talking yourself, right? Oh, see, I'm going to fail. This isn't going to work, right? When you get into that phase, you start self-sabotaging. Instead of saying, yep, here's the setback. I knew this was going to come. I'm ready. I'm prepared. I know who my resources are. I'm going to look it up on YouTube, whatever, right? So that you can just overcome that hurdle, knowing that it's not always going to be easy.
Yeah. Take action. And anything you want to do, take action. Don't leave for tomorrow what you can do today. All right. Because one of the big issue we have is like what we're talking about one idea. Oh, we're gonna do it tomorrow. But you know what? Sometimes we don't even write that idea on the paper, and then tomorrow, what do we say about yesterday? Now the idea is gone, and then you never, turn on the TV, you see your idea already on TV. You're like, wait a minute, I thought about the idea. Well, you thought about it, you took too late. You didn't take action. Anything you think about, don't think is stupid. Don't think is not valuable. Or, just see it. Why it's on your brain, and what can you do about it? Take action. Take action. To your thoughts. Take action to make yourself better, to live better. You don't just wish. Don't just wish to have a better life. Don't just wish to everything goes perfect, because nothing is perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. All right, because we are not perfect. We're human. We're not perfect. Okay, so don't expect that everything in your life is going to be perfect. If you don't expect that, you're going to start to having a better life, because you will know that everything is not perfect. So what can I do? I only can I do as much as I can to move myself forward. And remember, 1% every single day, and anything you put your mind to, 1%, not 365 days, that's 365%.
Wow, that's a big change.
I mean, that's a big change. What you want to create, all right? What you want to create.
Yeah.
Because your mind is the limitless. It's depend on what you want to have in your mind. You want to have a negative thought in your mind, or you want to use a positive thought in your mind. You want to use yourself to help others, to serve others, or you just want to use yourself just to take from others. All right. The choice is yours. Which side of the aisle you want to be, the giver or the taker.
We need to get over, speaking of giver and taker, we need to get over to the VIP room where Toby and I try to stop talking so much. And the group members speak up, talk about their experience embracing change and what holds them back. And, we bounce ideas off each other, and it's the same core group every week. So we know the changes that people are going through, and we're able to support each other face-to-face, one-on-one, get some wisdom. And so please reach out to us if you have any interest in joining the VIP group. It runs for an hour right after this live event, and we'd love to have you there. So just message one of us, and we'll let you know.
All right.
In the meantime, have a fabulous week.
Have a fun weekend. Bye-bye. Bye.